Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into something really fascinating, a premise that kind of bridges millennia. What if one of the biggest, most action-packed video game series, God of War, is actually deep down a modern version of an ancient Greek tragedy? We're looking at some incredible insights arguing that the original Greek saga of God of War, the games from 2005 to 2010, plus Ascension in 2013, isn't just like epic violence. It might actually be a direct descendant of the dramatic structures from Aeschylus, Sophocles, even Aristotle himself. So our mission today, let's unpack how Kratos' journey mirrors those tragic heroes of old. We'll explore themes like hubris, fate, redemption, all the classics. I want to see what this tells us about storytelling, then and now, and maybe why these stories still grab us so hard. Get ready for some real aha moments, especially if you've ever, wielded the blades of chaos yourself, because this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. What's really striking is how Aristotle's definition of tragedy from his Poetics, the imitation of serious action, evoking pity and fear, leading to catharsis, how that finds such a vivid and crucially an interactive expression in a video game. It's quite something. We're essentially going to connect the dots between Kratos' Spartan rage, his relentless quest, and these enduring questions about the human condition. It really speaks to the power of these ancient archetypes, doesn't it?
Definitely. So let's dive right in. The tragic hero. When you hear that, you think noble, but flawed, right? Someone whose fall is grand. Kratos, the ghost of Sparta. He's not exactly traditionally noble. He's brutal, vengeful. How does he fit that classical mold?
It's a surprisingly good fit, actually. Despite the ferocity, Aristotle defined a tragic hero not as perfectly good, but as someone whose misfortune comes from an error of judgment. A hamartia, not pure evil. Kratos, especially in that Greek saga, really embodies this. He wasn't born evil. He was a Spartan general, incredibly skilled, almost superhuman. He had leadership qualities, commanded respect, that drive for victory. He had greatness. That's key. He's not just a villain. He's a figure of stature, which makes his fall, so much more impactful.
Okay, so it's not just that he's a bad guy. He has these qualities that make him great, but they contain the seeds of his destruction. And that error of judgment, the hamartia, what would you pin that on for Kratos?
Yeah.
It seems like there are a few moments.
There are. But his defining hamartia, I think, it's this complex mix. His inherent violence, yes, but also this insatiable, almost pathological thirst for power and vengeance. You see it right at the start. That pact with Ares, trading his soul to beat the barbarians. It was desperation, sure, but also a huge misjudgment fueled by his own aggression. That one flawed decision, rooted in who he was, basically sealed his fate. It led him into servitude, suffering. The whole tragic path, it wasn't just a mistake, it was him.
Right. And that drive, that flaw, it seems to lead him exactly where he doesn't want to go. It reminds me a bit of Oedipus, actually. Oedipus is determined to find the truth, solve the riddle, but that very determination leads him to his own guilt. Kratos is desperately trying to break free from the gods, from manipulation. But his fury just leads him to destroy everything. His greatest strengths, determination, power, they become the very reason for his downfall. It's this massive tragic irony, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the classic paradox. The source of strength is also the greatest weakness. It defines Kratos' tragedy perfectly.
Okay, so moving from that core flaw, let's talk hubris. That overbearing pride, defying the gods. That just screams Kratos. He's definitely not shy about challenging anyone, especially in Olympia.
Oh, completely. It's central both to Greek tragedy and to God of War. And hubris isn't just arrogance. It's that dangerous overconfidence. Thinking you're above the rules, above divine will, like Prometheus defying Zeus to give fire to humans. Kratos does this constantly. Ares, Athena, right up to Zeus himself, he just refuses to accept the cosmic order, thinks he's justified, immune almost.
But there's a key difference there, isn't there, between Kratos and Prometheus. Prometheus did it arguably for humanity.
Kratos' defiance isn't altruistic at all. That's a crucial point. It's purely born from vengeance, personal suffering, endless rage. His hubris has no higher purpose. It blinds him. He doesn't see the collateral damage. The seas rage, skies darken, people suffer, all because of his path through the pantheon. He just doesn't seem to care who gets caught in the crossfire of his personal war.
It's terrifying, that kind of unchecked rage. It does make you think of Ajax in Sophocles' play. Wounded pride, wrath blinding him to reason, leading to ruin. Kratos takes his personal vendetta and makes it cosmic. He brings down not just himself, but basically the whole world. All because he can't let go of that pride, that need for revenge. It's catastrophe on an epic scale, driven by one man's.
Yeah, overweening pride.
And that scale, that epic destruction, that's what elevates it. It shows the terrifying consequences of unchecked hubris. Classic tragedy.
Kratos is always trying to break free, isn't he? From his past, the gods, the chains, always fighting for autonomy. But does he ever really manage it? Or is he just playing out some predetermined destiny? Every step seems to lead him deeper into the mess. Well, that brings us right to fate, doesn't it? A huge, complex question in Greek tragedy. Often fate is shown as inescapable, but paradoxically it's tangled up with human choice. Think Oedipus again. Doomed by prophecy, yeah. But it's his choices, trying to avoid it, that fulfill it. Kratos' story follows that exact tragic logic. The harder he fights what seems fated, the tighter the chains get. Almost like fate is mocking him.
He wants freedom from so much. Servitude to Ares, the nightmares of his family, Zeus's betrayal. Eventually, freedom from fate itself, always trying to be his own master.
And what's so compelling, so tragic, is that every attempt to assert that freedom just tightens the cycle of violence he's trying to break. Look at God of War 2, he consciously decides to confront the Sisters of Fate. He thinks he can literally rewrite destiny, change the past. But in pure tragic style, that defiance, that assertion of will, it just speeds up his entrapment. Trying to seize control of fate just embeds him deeper in its destructive plan.
It's such a brutal irony. Like Orestes in the Oresteia, his act of vengeance starts a whole new cycle of blood guilt. Kratos' war against Olympus just keeps that cycle of violence spinning. The more he fights fate, the more he fulfills it. He's like the architect and the prisoner of his own doom.
Exactly. It's a perfect picture of that inescapable web, where choice and destiny become almost impossible to separate.
Still, despite all that doom and gloom, Kratos achieves some incredible things, becoming the god of war, taking down massive deities like Poseidon, Hades. But these victories never seem to stick, do they? There's always another betrayal, another disaster waiting.
That's precisely peripeteia, the reversal of fortune. Aristotle highlighted it as key, a change from one state to its opposite. Kratos goes through these repeated, really ironic reversals. What looks like a win turns catastrophic, often leaving him worse off.
You see it constantly. End of the first game, he becomes the god of war. Looks like the ultimate triumph, right? Freedom from Ares, seat on Olympus. But then, the nightmares continue. His torment isn't over, the victory feels hollow. Then God of War 2, he is the god of war, ultimate power. And boom, betrayed by Zeus, killed, cast into the underworld, swift and brutal. In God of War 3, the ultimate victory, slaying Zeus, destroying Olympus. But the result? Total ruin for the Greek world. He just can't catch a break. Every peak leads to a deeper valley.
And these aren't just random plot twists. They're structurally vital, deeply ironic. They mirror that tragic tradition perfectly. Every triumph is shown to be empty. Every win heralds a bigger disaster. The rhythm of the saga is that classic pattern of downfall. Think of Antigone. Her noble defiance leads straight to death, the unraveling of everything. Kratos follows that pattern. High hopes, huge effort, dashed by bitter reality. It keeps you, the player, on edge.
Okay, so after all that destruction, caused and endured, does Kratos get that moment, that clarity, that aha, where he understands what he's become, the consequences? Self-reflection feels so crucial.
Absolutely. That's anagnorisis, the recognition. Self-knowledge. Arguably the most powerful part of tragedy. For Oedipus, it's realizing, the horrifying truth about his parents. For Kratos, that profound anagnorisis hits in the climax of God of War 3. But crucially, it's after the main fight is over. After he's already achieved his ultimate vengeance against Zeus and Olympus.
Right. So after he's slain Zeus, brought down the whole pantheon, and then finally gets it, his real enemy wasn't just the gods. It was his own rage, all-consuming, destructive. He sees the cycle of vengeance that drove him, tormented him, led to horrific acts. That was the source of his suffering. And the world's undoing. He sees the monster he became.
Exactly. It's a powerful moment, very much in line with Aristotle. He sees that hope, not hate, is what humanity needs. A fleeting, profound understanding. But, and this is the tragedy, it comes too late. Too late to save the world he destroyed, the lives he ended, the damage is done. Irreversible. It hammers home that self-knowledge often arrives only in the shadow of catastrophe. The lesson is learned, but the price is immense, already paid.
Yeah, incredibly powerful and somber. So, if Greek tragedies aim to evoke pity and fear, then catharsis, that emotional release, how does a video game pull that off? Especially when we're not just watching, we're being Kratos.
Well, that's where the interactivity really changes things, innovates even. God of War achieves catharsis with, I think, incredible intensity, sometimes more viscerally than theater. As the player, you definitely feel pity for Kratos. His manipulation, the loss of his family, the betrayals. It's intense suffering. And you certainly feel fear of his wrath, its consequences, but maybe also fear for him. You're right there with him, feeling the weight.
And because you're controlling him, making him do these brutal things, you feel complicit, don't you? You're pressing the buttons,
Yeah.
guiding the vengeance. It's a unique connection.
Precisely. You're not passive. You become complicit in the violence. You feel the thrill of the power, yes, but also the horror of what it does. That complicity is vital for the catharsis. When Kratos makes that final sacrifice in God of War 3, giving hope to humanity, it's complex. It's not just relief. It's sorrow for him, for the ruined world, awe at his struggle, and this deep, maybe uncomfortable reflection on vengeance. It's futility, it's cost, it's an interactive emotional journey.
Okay, so we've established God of War fits the tragic mold incredibly well. But is it just copying the classics? Mythological pastiche? Or does it add something new, a modern twist?
Oh, it definitely innovates. It pushes the boundaries. While the structure and themes are classical, the ending offers a really modern take. Think about ancient tragedies like Aeschylus's Oresteia. Often they resolved the vengeance cycle. They established civic justice, restored order, brought peace, a new framework.
But God of War doesn't end like that at all.
Yeah.
No neat bow, no council deciding what happens next.
No, not at all. It ends with devastation. There's no grand resolution, no new order established, just that faint possibility of hope Kratos releases, that unresolved, ambiguous ending. I think it's a powerful statement about our modern condition. Maybe in a world without that stable divine or civic order, tragedy doesn't end in reconciliation anymore. Maybe it ends in ambiguity, leaving us, the audience, the players, to grapple with the aftermath, what comes next. It feels like a tragedy, very much for our time.
Wow, what an incredible journey we've been on. From Kratos, the Spartan general, all the way to Aristotle's Poetics, it seems pretty clear, doesn't it? The Greek saga of God of War really does stand up as a compelling, modern Greek tragedy. It blends those ancient structures with interactive storytelling brilliantly. It makes us, the players, confront power, fate, passion, all of it.
Definitely. By embodying hamartia, hubris, peripeteia, anagnorisis, and catharsis so deeply, the saga really breathes new life into tragedy for the 21st century. Kratos isn't just some violent anti-hero. He's a truly complex, tragic figure. Undone by his own nature, yes. His defiance brings ruin, but that final recognition, that glimmer of hope, it stays with you.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? Well, it reminds us these big questions: fate, justice, human weakness, consequence. They're timeless. They cross millennia, cross mediums. Think about it. What other modern stories, maybe ones you found in unexpected places, films, books, other games, might also be echoing these ancient, powerful narratives? We'd encourage you to look a bit closer at the art you consume, see what deeper structures, maybe even tragic ones, might be lying just beneath the surface, waiting for you to uncover.